All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Thursday night. Another edition of KnicksFanTV Live presented by PrizePicks. Tonight's episode, we continue our NBA draft coverage, our NBA draft Q&A. Special guest, returning guest. He covers the NBA draft at basketballnews.com as well as Babcock Hoops, a fan favorite of the channel. My guy Derek Murray is back in the building. And hey, man, we're going to grill him with some questions because you guys have questions and he's got the answers. And we're going to cover a lot of the draft prospects tonight. A lot who, could be within the Knicks wheelhouse at 11. Maybe they move up. Maybe they move up to 7. We're hearing a lot of rumblings out of Portland, even up until now. And we'll talk about some sleepers tonight. So if you guys want to call in with your questions, the phone line's up. 657-383-1509 is the number to call. You can also hit us up on the Knicks Fan TV Discord. Derek, welcome back, man. How you doing?
Steve P, what's going on? Hey, thanks so much for having me. Always, enjoy talking draft. And again, this is one of my favorite shows to do leading up to the draft every single year. Knicks fans, they care about the team. They're well informed. So I think that's why I enjoy it. So I'm ready for all the questions. And again, just appreciative of you having me.
Absolutely, man. Always value your insights. And we always look forward to these annual gatherings. Now, this 2022 draft class, what's your overall take on the quality of this pool this year?
Yeah, this year, I think at the top, you do have some superstar potential. I think one of the things I want to talk about definitely early on is that a lot of people think it's just a big 3. I'm of the opinion, and so are a lot of NBA teams, that there's actually a big 4. That you have Chet, Paolo, Jabari, and Jaden Ivey as a big 4. Just kind of getting out there early. I have talked to as many, if not more, executives to have Ivey number 1 than have Holmgren as of today, a month out from the draft. Wow. And while that can change, because Chet's obviously a generational type player, Ivey's got a lot of love. So I think it's a 4-player guy or a 4-player draft at the top, superstar potential. I think the lottery's got a lot of talent, especially in the wings department. Back end of the first, you're getting some good value. The back end of the second, in my opinion, is fairly weak. And a lot of that, I think, is because of the NIL stuff that's going on. You have guys who are worth a ton to college programs, especially upperclassmen that are debating, should we go, should we stay? Well, now all of a sudden, when you look at the value of a second-round contract versus guaranteed NIL money, I'm going to use Oscar Tshiebwe as an example. He's getting a ton of money where he's probably a late second-round pick. So the second is probably depleted a little bit from that 45 to 60 range. But overall, at the top, I still think there's a lot of star power up there to be had.
That's a very, very interesting take there. And I really didn't think about it as, the advent of the NILs and guys, looking at second rounds in their future, maybe it behooves them to stay a little bit. Maybe it improves their draft stock. And, hey, maybe an endorsement from Smoothie King is worth more than league minimum in the second round. And then you're kind of, wavering in your career. That's a very interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, if I can get a brand new Benz and then 6 figures of cash somewhere, I mean, when I'm going to get a non-guaranteed contract, if I'm drafted at 50, I'll stay the big man on campus and I'll just go back to school another year. I think, Tshiebwe, TJD, I think Jaime Jaquez was one I didn't expect to go back to school. And Matthew Meyer announced his top 5 schools today, where I actually thought he probably should have stayed in the draft. So just really interesting.
Interesting indeed. Now, let's take it to Basketball News' most recent mock draft, basketballnews.com, and they have the Knicks selecting Johnny Davis out of Wisconsin. I like this kid a lot, man. Give me some of your thoughts of Johnny Davis and what you saw this year.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and get out there early. You're welcome, Knicks Nation, for not putting TyTy Washington there. I will say we've had him there a lot. I do think it fits like a glove. And I got to say, whoever made that meme of you've nicked TyTy to the Knicks for no reason again, honestly, it makes me crack up every single time. I think it's hilarious. So right now we do have Johnny Davis, 6'5", 200 pounds from Wisconsin. I think he's going to come in right away and give you toughness on both ends of the floor. And I think the size, toughness, ability to get to the rim, score in the mid-range, and the defense next to RJ Barrett is awesome. And I think almost like a running back tandem in football where you got the speed guy and then you got the bruiser, I think next to Quickly could be really nice. Let's say one day you throw him and Deuce McBride on the court together. Now you're really difficult to score on. You know, I think Davis gives you a lot of versatility, a lot of options, and a lot of lineup flexibility at the guard position. So if he's there at 11, I would be hard-pressed to see the Knicks pass on him. So I've got Johnny Davis there.
Excellent in the mid-range for sure. How did you feel about, you know, only the 30% from three, free throw numbers weren't all that this year. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, it definitely tailed off by the end of the year. You know, he started off so hot. There was a 6 or 7 game stretch, probably about 2/3 of the way through Big Ten play, where he was shooting, you know, 20-something% from the floor, 30% from the floor. The efficiency really, really dropped off. What I'll give him is he has the NBA size to come out and be ready to participate and play very early. So I don't think physically he has to grow that much. I think it's more shot selection. A lot of times at Wisconsin, he was asked to put the team on his back. And quite frankly, when that happens, no matter what size school you're in, no matter what kind of offense you run, that ends up in bad shots. So I didn't hold it too much against him. He will need to improve the consistency from three. But again, I don't put too much concern into those numbers right now.
And another weakness that I see a lot of people harping on is the lack of separation, the inability to really separate. They don't see him having that burst. How do you see it?
I agree with that. And that's why I think he's available at 11 and not going at 6 or 7. I think you've got guys like AJ Griffin, who I know he's not the most explosive player right now. You know, post knee injury, he just has not looked the same, you know, since he got hurt and even before college and his junior in high school. You know, the tape was just amazing. I also think Griffin is in play at 11, and our mock, we actually have him on the board going to the Thunder at 12. But that's where I think like Mathurin is a good example that elite athleticism, shot making on the move, I think propels him ahead. Let me look at who else we've got ahead right now. I think TyTy. I just think Washington's going to need a point guard. So we have TyTy going 10. And then the rise of Dyson Daniels recently. You know, the top 5 stuff started coming out. I thought there's no way. I made some calls over to some teams and some scouts and execs, and all of them were like, yeah, like this is real. So I think Dyson Daniels has jumped up. And I think Mathurin will go ahead of Davis. But that's where I think Davis and Griffin, there's a really good chance, 2 guys who have trouble separating, but there's a good chance that they're both there at 11.
Between Daniels, Mathurin, Davis, Griffin, who do you see as having the highest ceiling?
I think Mathurin right now. If I believe that Griffin was going to get back to his pre-injury athleticism, excuse me, my answer would be Griffin. I mean, for those who haven't seen the high school tape on him, I mean, just dominant in all facets. Looks like a top 5 pick, undoubtedly. I just worry about the burst, being able to get to the rim and get downhill on NBA floor. He struggled with it quite a bit at Duke, but turned himself into a reliable, bona fide 45% three-point shooter. Yeah. So I wonder if he's going to be a little bit of a one-trick pony on the offensive side. And Mathurin, I have number 1. Again, he's going to step out on the floor, be an NBA athlete on day 1. Watch his shooting on the move. It's incredible. His pre-shot footwork, the balance. It's the improvement from his freshman to sophomore year was so great. And then you guys have seen the highlights. He'll put you on a poster. He's not afraid of anything. Absolutely fearless. Tough kid, good teammate. I hold Mathurin up there at the highest. And then I think I'd probably go Daniels right after him. I got to see a lot of Ignite this year. Matt and I sat on the floor for a couple of Ignite games, got to talk to Daniels. Big kid, like great in person, great body. Not the most vocal alpha dog type. But what he is he's the glue guy you want on your team on both ends of the floor, that if he's not there, you will feel it. So I would go Mathurin, Daniels, and I probably have Davis and Griffin there after them.
Very interesting. On Davis, you know, his defense, he seems like a very gritty defender. How do you see him at the next level matching up? Do you see a lot of versatility in terms of guarding 2s and 3s, or do you feel like, you know, he's more of a guy that's going to be mainly guarding 2s out there?
Yeah, I'd say 2s and 3s because he's physically tough enough and strong enough to guard a lot of 3s. I do worry about the lateral quickness if he's asked to guard 1s, but 2s and 3s, again, he's really tough and he prides himself on his defense. So that's why I don't really worry about it, because what's hard is taking a kid in college who honestly doesn't give two craps about defense and trying to force them or teach them to love that side of the floor. You do not have to do that at all with Davis. I actually think you can put Davis. I mean, I would love to see Davis and McBride take the guards, let Deuce guard the ones, let Davis guard the twos. And honestly, like, that's kind of miserable to play against as an offensive player all night. So I think his defense is going to translate just fine because how tough he is.
Hey, man, you said the magic words, Deuce McBride, all right? That's got people in the chat buzzing right now. They want to see it. If Tibbs would actually let him play, that would certainly be interesting to see. Now, Portland is in the news. They have the number 7 pick. It's rumored, it's been rumored since they traded CJ that they're not going to go rebuild. They're going to continue to build with Dame, which to me is kind of risky. Jeremy Grant's been a name that we've been hearing. Knicks fans are trying to push Julius out the door, so they're trying to send him to Portland at number 7. Let's say the Knicks did get 7. Who would be the guy that you're looking at there? Would it be maybe a Mathurin?
Mathurin would be, I believe, my target if I could get it. I don't expect the big 4 to be there. Sharpe is pretty interesting. If you're Detroit at number 5, I think that they would be beyond thrilled to pair Ivy and Cade. I've heard that Ivy Cade is kind of one of their dream scenarios there.
Yeah, could imagine.
I've heard in the media that they like Keegan, and then you get into Mathurin and Daniel. So I think, let's say the Knicks end up at 7. The question is, do the Pacers take Shaedon Sharpe? That is probably where I look at, like, okay, there's a legitimate chance we could get Shaedon here. If I am prepared to take I don't want to say safe, because Johnny Davis is better than using the word safe, but more of like a tough, kind of very high floor rotation guy. I might be willing to take a home run swing on a guy like Shaedon Sharpe at 7. So I think Mathurin is the name that jumps out early. But if Sharpe were to fall and Keegan and maybe Mathurin and Daniel snuck up at 5-6, that's probably who I would take.
We're talking to Derek Murray of basketballnews.com and Babcock Hoops NBA Draft Q&A. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. We're talking NBA Draft here. Call us up, 657-383-1509 with your draft questions, and we will get to it. Now, the Knicks have also been linked to a couple of bigs, which is interesting to me because, number one, Mitch is my guy. And even though I'd like to see him back, I'm not at the point where it's by any means necessary or at any cost. With a rim running big like him, who still needs a lot of work, I would like to see him back, but at a certain price. And then when I look at the playoffs, you watch these games, we need an impact player. And a lot of these impact players, when you're looking in the playoffs, are at the wing, which is why I talk about a Daniels, a Johnny Davis, a Mathurin, a Griffin, and so on. I think we still need a bit more of a spark offensively at the wing. But then you have guys like a Jaylin Williams, a Mark Williams, who a lot of guys like. Where do you stand on those two guys?
I do think that both of them are going to be top 15 picks. Excuse me. I think that Duren will probably go first, although the measurables on Williams, those are special. You got that 9'9" standing reach. I've heard he's just crushing interviews. I think Williams is going to be a lottery pick as well. At least, with Charlotte having 13 and 15 and needing a big, it's hard for me to envision that both of them slip past both of those picks. So maybe the teens, sure, but I think one of them is going at least 13th or 15th at the latest. It was brought up to me the other day, and I actually took a lot of, started thinking about it a lot, because I thought about the Thunder pick at 12. I think Mark Williams makes a ton of sense. We have AJ Griffin there right now. But again, in that 11-12 range, I think Malachi Branham, I do not think Branham gets out of the lottery anymore. I think Beauchamp is worth a discussion. I think you've got Jeremy Sohan, who's worth a discussion. Some people have asked me about Tari Eason. When you look at what the free agency market is about to be, who are the names that are out there that are either, maybe trade for this guy, or this guy's going to be a free agent, who's available? I keep hearing DeAndre Ayton. I keep hearing Rudy Gobert. I keep hearing, other bigs. So you really have to put yourself in the shoes of a general manager. Is it easier for me to trade? Who is more available to me later,
Right.
a center, even an elite center, or a league average, above average wing, like who is more readily available for me to trade for, it's always going to be the center. So you have a lottery pick. Let's say you have 7 and 11 or 11 and something else. I'm kind of the opinion, take the wing, because if that clicks, you can still go get a replacement level center. So as much as I like Duren and Williams, it would be hard for me personally to spend a lottery pick on either one.
Yeah.
Although those two stand so far ahead of Walker Kessler and the other bigs in this draft that I think they'll go early because of the respective replacement value if you wait too long to take a big.
Copy. Yeah. Now, another Williams who's making a splash here is Jaylin Williams out of Santa Clara. Just confirmed today that he's staying in the NBA draft. Give the audience a little bit of a background on Williams and what you like about him.
Yeah, so Williams had a great year at Santa Clara. It was kind of a, I won't say late riser, but kind of I didn't even really start paying attention to him about maybe 2/3 of the way through the year. You start realizing, oh, this kid out here is averaging 18, 6 and 4. He's 6'6". Here he's got some freaking long arms. Let's see what this kid's about. Turns out he's incredible in the pick and roll. He has tremendous vision as a facilitator. Shot 40% from 3. Measured a plus 9.5-inch wingspan at the combine. I think it was like 6'6", and the wingspan's like almost 7'3", and then jumped a 39. So I do think that the media to some extent has gotten a little out of control calling him a lottery pick, but he is really good. I think he has played himself into the late first. I could see somebody taking him mid first. Just me personally, I'll probably take one of these high upside wings. Like I would probably take Eason or Sohan. I'd take Jaden Hardy and Dieng, Max Christie, kind of that group. I think that's his competition if he wants to be a first round pick. But again, a guy worth watching film. I think he's a player. What is the other Knicks pick?
The other one is 42.
42. Yeah. So we had him at 42, 3, 4-ish before the combine. I no longer think he gets there. I think he's probably a 20 to 35 guy at this point, just because he tested so well and could shoot. So good guy to know, probably worth trading up to go get if he's on the board at 35, 36. But I don't see him really being an option or being there.
Another guy you mentioned, Jaden Hardy. What do you like about Hardy's game?
Somebody's going to get an absolute steal in Jaden Hardy. An absolute, the best way to describe him, he's a walking bucket. He's got some stuff to learn as far as just the overall feel for the game, the speed of the game, and the G League was a little quick for him, especially early. And the feel as a facilitator, as maybe a lead guard, lacked, especially early and midway through the year. But what's going to happen is he's going to fall. He's going to fall to probably late lottery to late first. I think we have him around 2022 or something like that. And in a redraft in 5 years, he's probably a top 10 pick. So it wouldn't shock me if he fell, but the pure talent level is there that, like, you get into the teens, I would be no longer comfortable sleeping at night, letting myself know that I let him pass me, even though the numbers and efficiency were kind of concerning. So the talent level through the roof.
Every year we see guys rise up into the lottery. A couple years ago was Patrick Williams to the Bulls. Last year, Scotty Barnes was kind of that guy that rose up. Who do you see the guy this year that's been, shooting up there?
It's been Dyson Daniels. I think Dyson Daniels is the one that's really shot up as of late. I think he was looked at early in the year. Sure, maybe he goes pro halfway through the year. That's a late first. 2 weeks ago, he's a mid first. And now I'm hearing anywhere from 5 to 10. Wow. So I think Dyson Daniels is the guy.
Interesting indeed. Shaedon Sharpe, the mystery of Shaedon Sharpe. What do you make of his lottery prospects? Is he worth the risk? Is this a high risk, high reward situation? What's your take on Sharpe?
I think after the first 4, he is worth the risk, as long as you're a general manager with job security. So, I've said this before, it was for the average fan, again, it's not y'all's fault. It's nobody's fault. but it's just not as easy as saying, hey, I like this player, the talent, he fits this way, let's draft him. You've got to be able to walk into your owner and say, hey, I need you to trust me. I've picked this person to give $60 million of your money over the next couple of years. And you kind of have to sell your owner on that, especially if there's no job security. You've got maybe one more year on your contract, and you have to get it right. The pure talent is there. The ceiling is there. The potential is there. There are going to be some people that are wary in the top 10 because of the lack of college film.
Right.
There's a reason that one of the reasons the one and done is in place. You look at guys coming into this year that were projected top 10 just based on high school stuff. Mike Foster, Pat Baldwin, Jaden Hardy, Caleb Houston. I have serious doubts on whether Baldwin or Houston are either first round or even first round picks at this point. So you wonder, okay, after a college year, what does Shaedon look like? But if you're going just on high school stuff, I mean, you watch the Peach Jam clips, it's utterly dominant.
Yeah.
At the same time, we don't know who he was playing. You have to take into account some EYBL teams are better than others. And it's just a lot. There's just a lot of questions. So if I'm a team in the top 10, I still feel comfortable taking him, because if it does hit, you might have a top 3 player in this class when you look back in 10 years. But there will be somebody who shies away just because of the questions.
Yeah. I mean, Sacramento might not be that team that after having, somebody questionable drafts, not sure if they could take the risk, but maybe it's a Detroit at 5. That goes Shaedon Sharpe. But it's going to be interesting to see how he, fills out and pans out with the league. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP the Franchise here. Special guest, Derek Murray of Babcock Hoops and BasketballNews.com. We are doing our annual NBA Draft Q&A. If you guys have questions for Derek, call us up 657-383-1509, and or you can hit us up on the KnicksFanTV Discord. Okay, let's see. My guy Keith Sinclair in the chat says, curious what Derek thinks of Jaylin Williams in comparison to Dyson Daniels. So Williams versus Daniels.
I would take Daniels, just personally. One, he is a considerably younger. I believe he's probably 2 years younger if I got that right. Honestly, if anybody wants to fact check me, go to basketballnews.com. I got their draft day ages on the profiles. Someone wants to put in the chat how old they are. I believe it's about a 2-year gap. Daniels, again, he's not that alpha who, Jaden Ivey, his goal, he and Jabari Smith are the 2 guys in this class where their goal every night for 40 minutes is to make sure that they are better than you at basketball. And that's just not going to be Daniels. He's going to be your secondary ball handler, your secondary creator, but he's going to shoot well. He's going to be an amazing pick and roll passer. He's going to run your offense, and he's going to be a tenacious on and off ball defender with length, 6'7", 34-inch vertical. That's just a lot of really solid glue guy, incredibly high floor, great baseline of intangibles to work with. I cannot pass on that. So that's not a negative or dig on Williams in any way. It's just when you put the two together, I have less questions going into this about Daniels than a guy who really exploded because of the combine.
Let's go to the phones. Area code 732. What's your name and where you calling in from?
Wah.
My guy Dan from New Jersey is back. Took a little bit of a hiatus of the all-season. Dan, welcome back, man. How you doing?
It's good to be back, man. How you guys doing?
Doing well, man.
I've been listening. Listen, man. I've been watching a lot of KFS, a lot of KFTV, a lot of Locked On Knicks. I've been doing my homework on the draft.
Let's go.
For most of what I'm getting, the 6 to 11 spots seem to be a toss-up right now. There seems to be a lot of quality, maybe not super blue chip upside talent, but a lot of quality high floor talent, or whatever you want to make of that. And I just wanted to ask you guys, do you guys honestly see the Knicks trying to move up if they can't really get into the top 4? Because I don't think anybody's going to take Julius Randle for a top 4 spot. I can tell you that. We know that the Kings are crazy, but I don't think even they would do anything like that. So you guys tell me if you guys would even look to move up, man. I'd rather try to see if A.J. Griffin or Johnny Davis falls down in our lap. But you tell me what you want.
Yeah, so I appreciate the call, man. I would ask you that, Derek. we just talked about if we did say we did go up to 7, or say Mathurin is available at 7, yet you're still at 11 and you have the option of a Davis, maybe even a Griffin. If you're the GM, is Mathurin a prospect worth trading up for, or do you feel like you have enough value in a Davis or a Griffin?
I don't think the gap is great enough right now between Mathurin or Daniels and what you would get at 11 to justify trading at least future assets to go get them. And to the caller's point, like, yeah, there's no way you're getting in the top 4. Anybody moving in the top 4, you are mortgaging your future with picks that I would never advise somebody to do unless you are just so convinced that this is your guy. I'd mortgage my future for Victor Wembanyama next year, the big French kid. Absolutely. I don't think I would do it in this class.
Yeah.
So I would rather let, Griffin or Johnny Davis, I'd let one of those guys come to me. Now let's say, especially if by the time you go 5, 6, 7, either Duren or Mark Williams comes off the board, that by default pushes one of those wings to you.
Right.
Yeah. If you see a run, let's say top 4 go, and then Shaedon Sharpe, let's say it goes Sharpe, Mathurin, Daniels, I wouldn't move up anymore. At that point, I would say the gap is not great enough. I'd take who came to me at 11.
Yeah, I think Indiana could be a wild card in this thing because, they've been trying to trade Turner. They're trying to trade Brogdon. You have Rick Carlisle there who, does he want to rebuild? Does he not want to rebuild? They have a young team, a mostly young core. They just got Duarte last year. They got Halliburton at the trade deadline. So where they go in the draft, I think, is going to be very, very interesting. And as you said, the dominoes could fall down. Knicks could benefit from some of these teams. Indiana, the Spurs as well. I'm not so sure where the Spurs are going to go there. So you just never know. But I think one thing that this regime has shown over the last 2 years is that they're willing to trade, whether it's up or down. The first year of the regime, we heard that they were willing to trade up to try to go get Obi. Last 2 years, they've traded back, and they've gotten quickly. They've gotten Quentin Grimes. They've gotten Jakubaitis and McBride in that capacity. So, it seems like they will be open for business if the right deal comes along.
Yeah, I will say, not to jump you, I think that with Charlotte having 13 and 15, if they are convinced that the Thunder are going to take who they want at 12, the Knicks are the perfect call. We'll give you 13 and 15 for 11 and 42. Again, that's a lot. And let's say Duren is off the board. Like right now we have Duren mocked to San Antonio at 9. Let's say Charlotte is just dying for Mark Williams at 13. Look, he's a very Thunder pick. They need a center. They need rim protection and defense. Again, all-time great kid. The Thunder are going to at least be intrigued by him. They might need to go to 11. And in that scenario, the Knicks end up with 13 and 15, and you just take 2 wings.
Yeah.
So I think that's, again, I have not heard anywhere that is happening, but that's a couple chess pieces on the board where I say, okay, I see a world in which this happens.
Where do you see TyTy Washington? What do you think about him as a player and where he might end up?
Yeah, I think you're looking anywhere 10 to 20. I think 10 to 20 is his range. I think teams understand that he's a point guard. 6'3", was labeled a combo guard a lot of the year. I think at the NBA, he's a pure 1. Great vision, can shoot off the dribble, just smooth all the way around, can pass and distribute with either hand. Really good feel for the game, good touch in the lane. So we have him right now at 10 to Washington. I think Washington is a possibility. Don't kill me, Knicks fans. I think 11 is a possibility.
Knicks fans just say no way, especially after watching the tournament, man. They're snake pit.
I know you don't want it. I think Chicago at 18 to the Bulls could make some sense. I think 19 at Minnesota, at 20 to the Spurs can make some sense as well. So I think somewhere in 10 to 20, he'll come off the board.
Interesting indeed. All right, let's go back to the phones. Area code 203. What's your name and where you calling in from?
Yo, CP was good, man. Park City Deon, man. What's going on, man?
Park City Deon, how you doing, man? Long time, man.
Yeah, man. Been MIA, man. Working nights. But yeah, man. I had a question for Derek.
Mm-hmm.
I like Dyson Daniels just because at the end of the day, we got RJ. He like to put the ball in the old Obi, IQ. It's all the same thing. Like, even Mitch by the middle of the year was complaining about touching the ball. So I feel like we really need a selfless passer like that to just, get everybody involved and play the wing and play the best defender. What you think about that? And also, you said we could move back in 13 to 15 in a dream scenario. What other wing you think could have that similar impact on the team?
Thanks for the call, man.
Yeah. So again, right off your point, you need a selfless team ball distributor. TyTy Washington sitting right there. Like, again, that's why it makes sense. If I would have done this show 10 days ago, I would have said that Dyson Daniels is going to be there at 11. And I am just no longer sure of that. I think the Pelicans at number 8 is just fits like a glove. I don't know how they would let him slip by there. I can see Washington liking Daniels more than TyTy as well. Put him next to Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
If Beal leaves, then you at least have a 6'7" point guard to go with all the point forwards or the forwards that they have. In the scenario that you get 13 and 15, I am looking for any combination of Griffin, Malachi Branham, Agbaji, Beauchamp, Eason, and Sohan. And I know that's a lot of names, but if you can grab 2 of those, that is just a massive win. And that's one of the reasons where, personally, if I was advising Charlotte, I would say don't give up both of those picks to jump the Thunder to take a traditional center. Because if you can get one of those later, 13 and 15 in this draft, you're going to get some serious high upside wings. So, yeah, like Griffin, Branham, Agbaji, Beauchamp, Sohan, that's probably where I'm looking if I've got 13 and 15, trying to get 2 of those guys.
Yeah. And as you said, Charlotte could be that. Could be a possibility because big is their biggest need. They have wings. Big is definitely their biggest need. Hey, we'll see if MJ would want to help the Knicks out for once in his life. 13 and 15 wouldn't be so bad. Deon, good? Any other questions, or you good to go?
Nah, that was it, man. But, yo, I love what you're doing, man. And, yo, keep up the good work, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for supporting us. All right. That's
man, no doubt.
Park City Deon. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, we got them lined up now. They're ready for the questions. Area code 201. What's your name? Where you checking in from?
It's Icewater.
Icewater is back. Icewater, what's going on, man? We thought you forgot
what's going
about
on?
us, man.
CP.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question. This is the first year where I really didn't watch any college basketball at all. So the names are really foreign to me this year. Strange year, but didn't watch any college basketball. So I just want to know, is this draft particularly strong going from 1 to 20? And is it possible the Knicks could just trade these picks and maybe keep some picks for next year? Is next year's crop of prospects better than this year's?
Yep. Thanks for the call, man.
If somebody was willing to give me a future first in next year's draft to go up to 11, and Daniels, Mathurin, Davis, Keegan, Sharpe were off the board, and you're kind of sitting there between maybe, TyTy, Griffin, Duren, Mark Williams, I would be comfortable trading 11 for a pick next year. Obviously, with the superstar talent at the top of this one, it's strong. Down through 20, you've got a lot of role players. I like the lottery depth of next year's draft more than I do this one. You got everybody from Wembanyama to Scoot to Whitehead. I love Nick Smith at Arkansas is going to be a guy to watch. The Thompson twins at Overtime Elite. Like, you're going to have some serious talent, like potential top 3 guys available at 9, 10, 11 next year. Again, some things can go haywire like they do every year, and maybe somebody doesn't pan out. But I would rather have 10 or 11 in next year's draft than this one if I had to pick. So if somebody offers you that, I wouldn't have a problem trading out.
Yeah, I certainly hear that, but where the Knicks are situated, they just need talent, and they need talent that can help them win. So if, I don't think that they're just not in a position where they can really punt on these things. I think they need to be trying to get either some young talent, some high upside, or being able to package that for an established talent that can help them win games. And then especially you look at Tibbs having a down year this year. I think the pressure is going to be on him to win some games. So
that's another reason that I think Johnny Davis is a fit, because Tibbs wouldn't run him into the ground. Because he's so physically and mentally tough that I think he can handle that. I will say, if the offer is to fall back in this one and then get some seconds, then I would say no. To your point exactly. Like, hey, we are at a point we need talent. We need somebody. Because I don't think, let's say you trade, again, just hypothetical, to 18 through 22. I do not think you are getting a guy as ready to contribute at 18 to 22 in the first year of this class as you would at 11. So if I'm not getting a future first, don't call me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like at 11, 12, 13, you can get guys who can come in and maybe provide some stuff pretty early. In the 20s of this draft, I do not see that.
So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. KnicksFanTV live NBA draft Q&A with special guest Derek Murray of Babcock Hoops and BasketballNews.com. If you guys are new in the chat, leave us a hashtag new. We will shout you guys out. Salute to all of my regulars in the chat, all of the mods in the chat. Welcome back to another on-season edition Knicks Fan TV. Shout out to Blue Cheer, $20 super chat, says, "Go Knickerbockers, get a point guard." But this doesn't seem like a very point guard heavy draft, right? I mean, TyTy Washington is. I mean, you have Daniels, who some people say can run the one or is more of a hybrid. You have TyTy. Are there any others? Knicks do have the 42nd pick. Any other point guards that you like maybe later on in the draft?
I think Kennedy Chandler will probably be the next one off the board. We have him probably in that 20 to 30 range, maybe 15 to 30, the point guard from Tennessee.
Tennessee, right? Yeah.
I think at 42, you're probably looking, J.D. Davidson's got a really wide range, the freshman from Alabama. He was really hidden behind the upperclassmen in that guard rotation. So I don't think he got to showcase all the talent he has. So I think he'll be a second-round pick who's probably a first-round talent. If you're at 42 and you want a guard and you need to go up into the 30s to get him, I think that could be a great move. Jean Montero from Overtime Elite is probably a mid to late first-round pick as well. And honestly, other than that, I mean, you get into the late 50s, Marcus Sasser has a chance of being drafted. Iverson Molinar has a chance of getting drafted. Colin Gillespie. But even of those three, Gillespie's probably the only pure point guard. Gillespie would play well under Tibbs. Again, physical, never misses a game. You could run him for 80 games kind of thing. But yeah, the point guard depth in this class is really shallow. You probably only have 4.
Interesting. Okay, back to the phones we go. Area code 203. What's your name? Where are you calling in from? 203. Going once. Oh, you're not ready. You're not ready for showtime, man. All right, we'll put him on ice, see if he comes back stronger. Area code 631. What's your name? Where you calling in from?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Oh, is this my guy?
Tom.
Let's
Thomas,
go.
Huntington.
Yep.
Manscaped, PrizePicks, let's go.
Let's go.
Derek, fantastic work. Love what you do. Except don't say TyTy again. I just have a couple of quick points. Number one, I didn't watch that much college basketball, but I did watch. It seemed like Wisconsin was on like every channel every other day. Davis is my guy. He just has the it factor from what I've seen. Maybe the separation isn't great, but it's hard to separate when you've got 2 or 3 guys on you at the same time, like every single game. So that's the first thing. What do you think about what's his name, Jeremy Sohan? I like him. I think that's like a Tibbs guy. So I definitely think we should. I'd like to know what you think about him. And last but not least, if Deuce McBride was in this draft, where would he go? All right. So thanks for taking my call. Love what you guys do. Keep up the good work. We'll talk soon.
Tom from Huntington, always a pleasure. Salute to Tom.
Man, okay, so if McBride was in this draft, man, I think you're looking think you're looking 20 to 25 if I really had to narrow it down. I would take him ahead of that Montero, Wendell Moore, Jaylin Williams, Walker Kessler, Turk Smith. I would take McBride over that group. So I think he's comfortably a first, in my opinion. Sohan is a guy that I get to see him live multiple times. I see a lot of Big 12 basketball. You don't understand how smooth he is of an athlete until you're on the floor next to him. First off, he's 6'9", long arms, great body, great frame. And he's like a noodle. I mean, just fluid from head to toe. And you cannot teach that. I think that's what makes him really intriguing as a player. I know he had issues shooting. I know there were inconsistencies as a scorer. One possession, he'll look like an all-NBA defender. The other possession, you go, why did you get back cut? Like, why did you fall asleep? But if you buy the best of Jeremy Sohan, I think you've got a bona fide lottery pick. I know some teams that like him in the top 10. If he's there at 11, again, do I think the Knicks need a guard? Yes. But if they're all gone and it's a Duren, Mark Williams, or Sohan pick, hey, honestly, I would probably take Sohan just because of the value of what he does versus what a 5 does. So that's something to monitor. I think he's going to be really good in the NBA if you can get him to lock in every day from start to finish. That's what you're going to have to get from Sohan. Forgive me. What was the first one? The first question. Something about guards.
Well, no, I think it was Sohan. I think he did say he did like Davis.
Okay.
He said Sohan, and then he talked about McBride.
Gotcha. So yeah, McBride thinks at first. Sohan's awesome. Oh, Davis about being double teamed all the time. Right. Yeah. So yeah, he was inefficient, took some bad shots, but again, to your point, like he was doubled every time. Wisconsin really didn't have any other go-to guys, and when you are the team's offensive engine and you don't get a lot of help, I'm not as worried about your inefficiencies because of what that situation forces you to become. So I'm not too worried about it.
Are scouts liking Sohan from, just the versatility standpoint as a guy that can get it done across a stat sheet? Do they see any offensive upside in terms of shot creation, playmaking as well? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the versatility on both ends. I think he guards probably 2 through 4. I think in offense, occasionally he can initiate for himself. I think he develops into a good spot-up shooter. He develops into a heck of a cutter. Again, at 6'9" with that kind of mobility and his movement skills, there's a lot you can do with him. So that's why I think he's being coveted. He's really creative. Like even when he missed his shots, you guys can pull up the film. It was at Oklahoma State this year. I went to the game. I think he was like 3 for 10 on the night. Just honestly kind of an ugly game. But he would drive, and almost like Sadiq Bey, he'd drive, he'd kill his dribble about 8-10 feet out. But then he was really crafty. He can go up and under you. He'd spin, he'd pivot off either foot, could hit the fadeaway, just could finish in a variety of ways. And even when he missed, there was parts of that offensive game where I say, okay, I see it. I see it in 3 years if we get you to refine this, what this can be. And that's what teams are going to like in him.
Interesting. Back to the phones we go. Let's go area code 646. What's your name and where you calling in from?
Is it me?
Yep, it's you, man. What's your name? Where you calling in from?
Okay, I don't know. 646 is popular, so I'm speaking from the Lower East Side.
Yeah. Our screen is in off-season mode, man. So I'm screening all the calls tonight, man. What do you want me to do, man? What's going on?
All right. Thanks. Question for Derek. Well, one thing I wanted to say first is that I think the Charlotte thing, I've been thinking about that a lot. And, if Duren were to fall, I think that would be the best case. And just to let you know, the Knicks have a ton of future second-round picks to throw in that if we ever needed to do it.
True.
But my questions are I have 2 questions. Questions about 2 different players. One player I like a lot, but it looks like the Knicks are not going to draft him because they haven't even interviewed him, is Ousmane Dieng. And part of the reason why I like him is because I feel like whoever the Knicks draft, they're not really going to play that much next year. Like a lot of Knicks fans are talking like they're getting excited for this draft, and they're forgetting that whoever we draft is not going to play a lot next year. So therefore, I like the idea of drafting him and throwing him throwing him in a developmental system, whether you put him in the G League for a year and then in the future he comes in or whatever.
Yeah. Well, It depends on who the player is. I wouldn't be so sure. You know, a lot of Knicks fans are down. Oh, it's Tibbs. He's not going to play the pick. You can't have a draft strategy based on whether or not Tom Thibodeau is going to play the guy. Because like I said, number one, you just never know. Maybe he's ready to go and Tibbs gives him his 15 minutes. You never know. And secondly, Tibbs' job isn't necessarily secure. You're going to bring a kid in on a rookie deal, and if he's on your team, there's a better chance that he outlasts Tibbs. So you can't draft based on potential playing time. You just got to go with the best player that fits where you want to go and is a complementary piece to what you already have. Things have a way of working itself out.
Yeah, in a perfect world, the coaching staff and front office have great synergy. We're all on the same page, same timeline, all this stuff. But 95% of the time, that is just not the case. Mm-hmm. The front office's job is, yes, to give them the players that puts the best product on the floor, but at the same time, like, they have to get it right. And if that means not doing what the coach wants, like, every year there's at least 20 teams where that's what happens. I love the potential in Ousmane Dieng. I really do. I pushed for him to be a lottery guy most of the season. Wasn't looking real good for me early because at the beginning he really, really struggled in the NBL. Like maybe was averaging 2 and 2 a game. Low volume, low minutes, low usage. Just coming over from France, it just did not click with him early. But if you watch him against his peers in France, in FIBA, in different competitions at 15, 16, 17, he was awesome. By the end of this season in the NBL, he was playing really, really well. He was starting to shoot the ball. You could see at 6'9", 6'10", he's really, really smooth and can facilitate as a pick and roll passer. It's really, really nice. So again, I actually don't hate that as a dark horse pick at 11. I think the media would go, whoa, that was a reach. I don't know why they did this. But again, from a pure, what is their best case? If every player hits their best case scenario, I don't have a problem putting him in that Branham, Eason, Sohan, Jovic territory. I think Jovic and Dieng are two international guys that, look, if you believe you can turn them into what their ceiling outcome is, 11 is not too soon, in my opinion.
Interesting indeed. Let's take a quick break to pay some bills. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP the franchise here. Derek Murray on the other side. NBA Draft Q&A. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Subscribe to the channel. And remember that tonight's show is presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. You guys that are fans of the show know I play PrizePicks during Knicks games and also during the NBA playoffs. And what do we mean by daily fantasy sports? It's props, overs, and unders. It's that simple at PrizePicks. You go to PrizePicks.com to support us. You're going to enter promo code KFTV. They will give you a bonus match on your deposit of up to $100. And then from there, you're just going to pick 2 to 5 players. You can pick a number of different stats, points, assists, rebounds, three-pointers made, so on and so forth. And you're just going to predict whether or not that player is going to go over or under a given stat for that night. Now, tonight's matchup against with Golden State against Dallas, here are the picks that I went with. I went back to my guy Klay Thompson, over 17.5 points. Klay finished game 3. He hit the over in games 4 and game 5 as well. And I'm going with Klay again. He's been, second highest scoring average on the Dubs this year. Going back to Klay at home, I think the Dubs will close out. And so I'm going Klay with over 17.5 points. Now, PrizePicks added a new category this year, just recently. 3-pointers made within the first 6 minutes. And like I said, after a letdown game in Dallas, I think the Dubs are going to come out hot. I'm counting on Klay. I'm counting on Steph. Over 1.5 3-pointers made within the first 6 minutes of the game. I'm going over there. Next pick, I made my third pick of the night. I got to go with Luka, man. If Dallas is going to win this game, obviously it's going to be Luka Doncic. He's been dominant, back-to-back 40-point performances. I'm going over. I'm going under 50.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Like I said, I think Golden State is going to close them out. And I think Doncic falls just shy of the 50 total. My fourth pick that I made, I went with my guy Jordan Poole, man. The lightning rod of this Dubs team off the bench, over 15.5 points. And then the last pick I made in this game is actually the Heat and Celtics game 6. I'm going with Jimmy Butler on a rebound game, even though I think the Celtics are going to close out at home. I'm going with Jimmy Butler rebounding over 22.5 points. So those are my picks for tonight and tomorrow. For you guys at home, go ahead and play, but play responsibly. Go to PrizePicks.com, enter promo code KFTV for a bonus match on your deposit of up to $100. Derek, today, just before we came on, it was breaking news. Mike Schmitz of ESPN got the assistant GM job with the Portland Trail Blazers, man. Very interesting developments. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Schmitz, I'm really happy for Mike. You know, Mike's one of those guys where really down to earth. You enjoy hanging out with him at a game. You enjoy hanging out with him at the bar after the game, which, again, that's something you look for in people. That just down to earth, humble people. He's a grinder, works as hard at this as anybody in the world. So I'm happy for him. Now I'm curious to see what Portland does with 7.
Yeah.
I feel like we have an advantage. We know what Portland's big board is now because it's all on ESPN.
Right.
But it's just fun. I'm happy for him. It's well deserved. He's been working at this a very long time. So, but yeah, for those listeners and watchers, like that broke maybe 90 seconds before we went live here. So my phone's been blowing up quite a bit. We're trying to figure out what else is going on, but very happy for Mike and well deserved.
If you got his number, give him a call and see what he thinks about Julius Randle. Let him know, hey, number 7, he's got to make Dame happy. Julius, hey, just tell him, Julius, it was just a down year. You know, the fans were down on him. He'll have a better time in Portland. You know, they're a little bit more friendly over there. Sell him on Julius Randle from his friends at KnicksFanTV.
I'll call him as soon as we're off here.
All right, cool. All right, a couple more calls before we wrap up. Area code 516, and then Garment on the Discord is on deck. 516 area code. What's your name? Where you calling in from?
Hey, is it me?
Yep, loud and clear. What's your name? Where you calling in from?
Hey, this is Matt. I'm calling in from Greenpoint, Brooklyn.
Matt, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Thanks a lot for having me on. So my question for you is, if you were to choose like 1 or 2 guys that kind of remind you of a Giannis type pick, because the feeling I have is it's like some of the other callers said, we're not going to have a lot of playing time for this guy, and why not pick someone that is like a home run or like a foul tip? You know, somebody who could be a real home run, like a Giannis type project that we can sit on for a couple of years. Who would that be in your perspective?
All right, appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, that's a fun question because, again, teams with rosters who they already know who's going to play next year, that is kind of how they look at it at times. Like, hey, we can take the biggest swing we want to. You know, similar to the Pokuševski pick the Thunder made a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. I think just, again, looking down the list of players, it's maybe, I won't say an easy answer, but it's not a cop-out either with the 2 international kids we have in the 20s right now. So Nikola Jovic plays for Mega Basket, 6'10", 222. Ousmane Dieng from the New Zealand Breakers, 6'9", 185. They move very differently, but their skill sets are similar. They're both, you could list them at power forward, and then they could be your lead ball handler the whole game. Dieng is kind of your more like quiet one role player, Dyson Daniels-ish type of thing. Jovic doesn't lack any confidence whatsoever, has a great frame, can be your lead ball handler. Think like an aggressive young Gallinari is kind of a Jovic, kind of what you're looking at there. I would take a shot on either one of them. I think that Josh Minott out of Memphis is one to watch. Maybe that late first, early second, 6'8", 197. Didn't have a ton of usage at Memphis, but can jump out of the gym, really long arms, can handle the ball pretty well. Let's see if anybody else kind of rings a bell here. Yeah, that's probably where I'd go there. Maybe Overtime Elite's Dom Barlow. We have him at 58 right now, 6'10", 221. A lot to figure out, kind of a raw talent. But again, you could stash him down in the G League, and then in 3 years, it's like, whoa, now we've got a 6'10", 240, 21-year-old who's ready to come in here and rock and roll. So if you guys haven't seen any film on Jovic or Dieng, you can find them on the Basketball News YouTube page. We clip their season highlights. Actually, shameless plug, basketballnews.com, 22 NBA draft prospects. We have 185 videos on there, I believe is the number. It's full season highlights of everybody. So go check out Nikola Jovic and Ousmane Dieng. It's a pretty fun film.
Absolutely, man. Definitely check it out, basketballnews.com. Shout out my guy, Matt Babcock. Shout out Scott Hale, those guys over there, man. Alex Kennedy, basketballnews.com, doing great work. To the Discord we go. Garment artists. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, man. What's your name? Where you calling in from?
All right, man. It's Garment Artist reporting here from the 305, man. I missed you when you was out here.
Oh, you didn't even pull up on me during the lottery
I should have.
man.
I was sleeping. I was sleeping on that.
Oh, my God.
But listen, man, I'm still locked in on this draft.
Okay.
I've been checking in. We definitely need a guard or a wing in this draft for sure. I'm going with Daniels or my boy Benny Mathurin. If those two guys are on the board, either one of them two on the board, that's what we need to take. A third option I would be happy with, but it's still a little iffy, is this kid Duren. I think he's a baller. He got some potential, but I think that we could really find like a big man in free agency, someone that could fill that role. That's not as much. You know, we ain't going to find that in the wing position, or definitely not in the guard position during this free agency.
Yeah.
So those are the three moves that I'm looking at. And I'm kind of curious about this kid McGowens. I really ain't watched a lot of film on him, but I think that he does have some up potential from just the workouts that I've been hearing about him, and his draft stock is rising. So, yeah, maybe speak about that a little bit, but that's
Appreciate
all,
the call, man. Appreciate the call. Bryce.
Yeah, definitely.
Bryce McGowens, Derek, out of Nebraska. Yeah. Your thoughts on Bryce?
McGowens, I'll say somewhat polarizing in the media. NBA teams understand that this kid's going to be a bona fide scorer in a couple years. 6'6", 181, long arms. Again, can score at all three levels at will. He's a really good athlete. He can play above the rim and transition in the half court with ease, get up and dunk on you, good in isolation, pick and roll, will hit threes off the dribble. Nebraska asked him to carry a lot of offensive loads, so the shot selection was pretty rough. It really was, especially early and halfway through the year. But if you go watch some of the end of the year games from McGowens, he's unstoppable on the offensive end. Intel checks out really well with him. I've heard nothing but positive things, and I'll be really interested to see where he goes. We currently have him at 31. I think just right off the bat, if I am a team and I'm in second round and I see his upside in a contract that I can control, I'm all over it. Would not shock me if he went late first, though, because he is like supremely talented if you can get it to click and you can get him to lock in and make good decisions with the ball. So he's one that would really like on the Knicks, but you don't take him at 11, he won't be there at 42. Yeah. So it's just kind of weird. But hey, he's there on the board at 32. You've got 42. Caller earlier said we've got a ton of second round picks. Or in the future, go ahead and see if you can move up, because McGowens would definitely be worth it.
Bryce McGowens out of Nebraska. Let's go back to the Discord. A-Roy321. Go ahead and unmute your mic. A-Roy321.
Hey, what's up? Hope y'all are doing well.
Yep.
I just want to say, Derek, I second everything you say about Bryce McGowens. I actually go to Ohio State, so I'm a huge Big Ten fan. And yeah, I think Bryce McGowens, he's the real deal. But I don't even want to talk about any of the Ohio State boys. The guy I really want to lock in on is Jaylin Williams. And I know he might be a little bit of a reach at 11, but I think this is one of those moves like when the Suns selected Cam Johnson. It's a go out and get your guy. If you look at Jaylin Williams, he has next to no holes. So I'd really like to see what you think about Jaylin Williams. I think the only, gripe that you could have about him is his age. He's 21. But when you think about it, the Knicks, this new regime, they've only drafted players over the age of 20. So it really is a seamless fit. He plays defense. And also on the topic of, hey, we need a point guard, I'm not saying this guy is going to be a full-time point guard, especially not stepping into the league, but he definitely can take possessions. His reads off the pick and roll, he's a wizard. I really do think that. So, yeah, let me know what you think about Jaylin Williams. I am a huge believer in him, and I really think he'd be a great fit.
I appreciate the call, man.
Yeah. Well, first off, man, I'm from Tennessee. I live in Oklahoma City. I was born in Columbus. OH, a diehard Ohio State fan across, whole way. So I'm almost a little bummed he didn't ask me about the Ohio State players.
Yeah, no Malachi Branham. He's not a fan, I guess. Not a
Branham
fan.
and Liddell.
Yeah.
Jaylin Williams, we mentioned it like right at the top of the show. I personally would consider 11 a reach. I do not think he's a lottery pick. I will take the young, super high upside freshman. Again, being 21, I think there's limited upside there. But again, he measured well, tested well. Pick and roll is amazing. Vision is amazing. Bona fide shooter, 6'6", jumps to 39. Like everything on paper checks out. What I will say is the defense is a huge problem, in my opinion. Couldn't really stop anybody the whole year. And whether that's, it's for teams to decide. Is that because he just can't or won't, or maybe he carried so much of an offensive load that he took that side of the floor off? Hey, high usage guards and wings, some of them do that. I'm not going to hold that against him if that was the strategy there. Maybe the coaches told him to chill out because we need your energy on that side of the floor. But I see the defense as the gaping hole in Jaylin Williams' game. I just think that, again, if you take into account Tibbs, if you're the front office, you're like, all right, who can play under Tibbs and all this stuff? How's it work? I would take Johnny Davis ahead of Williams every single time at 11. Again, that's just me personally. There are some people that think that Jaylin Williams has played his way into the mid-first round. And just because I'm not there with him doesn't mean that he's not that talented. All it takes is one team to pick a guy at 14, and he is officially a lottery pick, whether I or any other analyst says so. So tested well, has definitely helped himself. I think he went from being picked at 40 to closer to 20 over the last 7 days with his testing, but I'm just not there yet at 11.
Back to the phones we go. We got my guy Jay from Florida in the building. Jay, you're another guy, man. I pulled up in South Florida. You were nowhere to be found, man. I was asking around for the governor. They said they haven't seen you, man. You know, I know you're
I'm the governor of Florida,
bro.
I'm the premier Knicks fan in the state of Florida. But you got to realize, New Yorkers, that Tampa is 4 hours away from Miami.
I took the drive. I took the drive from Tampa to South Beach. I know it's a 4-hour drive, man. I went down Alligator Alley. Yeah. I was still expecting to see you, man. I had a guy come from West Palm, took the day off from West Palm, came through to come through, man.
Yeah, I should have pulled up on you. Next time you come to Miami, I'm pulling up. I might fly because I like flying better. It's 30 minutes on the plane, flying quick, fly back to Tampa. Nice.
All right, no doubt.
Yo, what's up, brother? Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm Johnny Davis or bust. If Johnny Davis ain't there, the whole season is a wash. I told y'all I don't like the meaningless wins in March and April. We had a shot to get 7, 8, 9, and we started winning games, and Quick started chucking the ball up, and we won some unnecessary games. Cool, whatever. I want to talk about that kid in the G League. What's his name? Hardy, I think. Jaden Hardy. Yeah, what do you think about Jaden Hardy, brother?
Jaden Hardy, Derek. Jaden Hardy.
Right now we have him mocked.
I got a couple.
Okay.
Jaden Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about Malachi a little bit. I like Malachi. I've been hearing good things about him. And I want to talk about Mark Williams. I think Mark Williams is big and doofy and can't really do nothing on the basketball court, but the scouts like him. What you think about those three people? And then, of course, Benedict versus Johnny.
All right. This is Jay trying to catch up. Jay hasn't called in about 3 months, so he's trying to catch up on lost time. So let's take it one at a time. Jaden Hardy, then Branham, Williams, and then he said Mathurin versus Davis.
Cool. So we have Hardy mocked 23rd to Philly right now. Again, I think that is probably 15 to 25 is probably where he'll be drafted. Talent-wise, pure talent, nothing but who gets buckets. He's probably a top 10 talent in this draft. There were just enough from the feel for the game, stuff like that. Just has a lot to figure out as far as being a lead guard, playing both ways from start to finish in games like he did in the G League. But again, when he's clicking, I think we're going to look back in a couple of years and in a redraft, he would probably go top 10 because he's going to score. When he figures it out, he's going to be incredibly difficult to stop as an offensive player. Mm-hmm. Malachi Branham, I think, has played his way into the lottery. It would shock me if he got out of the lottery at this point. Second half of the year, especially the second half of Big Ten play, he was scoring 25, 30, literally whenever he wanted. And he was doing it in a variety of ways. Some games it was hitting 5 threes. Others he was a mid-range killer. Others he was getting to the rim at will. It was really special. A lot of people see talent in him. One of the best interviews you will get in this whole draft class. One of the best kids, all-time great player. You want him in your organization. Teams are just falling in love with him as they talk to him. I expect him to be a riser and be a lottery pick. Very much in play at 11 if some of these other guards are gone.
Sure.
Mark Williams, again, probably a mid to late first most of the year, dominated in the NCAA tournament, and then goes and measures a 9.9 standing reach at the combine. And again, he is kind of goofy at times. I get it because he's so like long and lanky, but he's not stiff at all, which is special in a big. I think he has Gobert-like defensive upside if it really clicks with him. Got a good combination of like aggression, but also really innate feel and timing as a shot blocker. So he's going to cause a lot of problems down in the paint. I wouldn't pick him at 11. I'd take a wing or guard, but I'd say late lottery is probably the range for him. And then Mathurin versus Johnny Davis. Davis is a fit at 11. If he's there, that's who I think the Knicks go with. I personally have Mathurin higher. So we have Davis mocked right now at 11, but we have Mathurin at 7 to Portland right now on our current mock.
There we go. Shout out to Jay from Florida for that. Okay, King Deej up on the Discord. King Deej, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, peace and love. I love the off season. Shout out to you, CP. Shout out to you, Derek. I'm gonna make it real quick and wrap it up.
Yep.
Because I like what you said, Derek. I like that 11 for 13 and 15. Because I've been pro Johnny Davis since January. Shout out to Jay from Florida. I was right there with him, but he's not gonna be there in my opinion at 11. So you just said Malachi. So I want to ask you about the other kid at the wing position that you haven't really spoken about, Oche out of Kansas. How do you feel if the rate from 1 to 10, how that would look if the Knicks traded back from 11 to 13 and 15 and secured Malachi and Oche? Thank you, guys. Peace and love.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so we actually have Agbaji at 15 right now to Charlotte. So I think that is his range. Late lottery all the way back to probably 19 or 20. Again, another like all-time great kid, bona fide shooter, winning pedigree, champion, loyal, like physically, mentally tough, disciplined, hard work, like checks every single intangibles box that you could ask for, just like Branham. Look, perfect world for me, Charlotte or whoever has 13, 15, take Branham and Agbaji. Leave with both of them. You have hit the jackpot. You had a great draft night. Agbaji is going to open the floor so much for whoever drafts him because he's the ultimate shooter off movement and off the spot up. Like I think Mathurin with his athleticism probably has higher potential of what he can become, and he's 2 years younger. But again, Agbaji is a spot up shooter. He's in great shape. He's a nightmare to chase around all game. 6'5", 215. He'll bring you good defense as well.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be selfish. He doesn't need the ball in his hand. He excels without it. But if you need him to handle the ball, he can. Transition finishing threat as well. Look, I think Branham, Agbaji, Beauchamp. Right now, we have them at 14, 15, 16. You get two of those three at 13, 15. If that were to happen, like, huge win. I would have no qualms about that at all.
I like what I saw from Agbaji out of the tournament. Looks like a safe pick. Definitely looks like a safe pick. And, could certainly help the Knicks, man. Great call by King Deej as usual. All right, closing this show, we got to go to the closer. Jay Boogie, North Carolina in the building. Jay Boogie, let's go.
Salute. 3 capital S's. Can y'all hear me clear?
Yeah, loud and clear, man. Good to go.
Okay, first thing first, I'm pissed off tonight. Reason why I'm pissed off, because I'm mad at my Rangers. They came in here and played like it's okay, knowing that we going back home to win. Yeah. Carolina was playing with everything on the line, knowing they couldn't go back to the Garden. I'm pissed off with that. Yeah. But otherwise, besides that, blessings to everybody. Hope everybody healthy and safe. Y'all know my lingo. God bless y'all. I've been missing y'all. Haven't spoke to y'all since we got the 11th pick. But it's okay for us to have the 11th pick. It could have been worse. We could have had a worse pick. Instead, some of y'all want to trade up with the pick. But it's not for us to trade up the pick. That's up to the office to go ahead and trade up with the pick. But whatever you do with the pick, make sure you get a certain type of value for that pick. But whatever you do, don't mess with that 23 draft pick. Salute, salute, salute. I had to drop a little ball. Hey, yo, D. Murray, I'm beefing with you, man. Reason why me and you beefing, man, because you let that Nike dude come in there and get that position and knowing you certified for that type of position. You've been dropping jewels like you've been dropping jewels, man, every time, every year, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to this draft. And I appreciate everything you be doing, the hard work you be putting in throughout the whole entire season, you know what I'm saying, getting prepped up, getting prepared to come there, you know what I'm saying, on the Knicks Fan TV show, because you all family. You part of the family. Don't you never forget that. And when you come up here, you always share your love and give us, you know what I'm saying, that fantastic input that we all need. And looking out for the ones that don't be watching college basketball. You the one that give us, you know what I'm saying, that great hope, you know what I'm saying. And I appreciate you and salute you. And I hear y'all talking about that boy Bryson. I've been upon him. Let y'all know a little something. I watched that boy bust Davis on TV live, and I'm going to give y'all another little something. Davis is not going to be there for him, because if you think Greg Popovich don't see a young Kawhi Leonard all over again to match up with Murray, you're tripping. That's his type player. He fits his system. Don't slip on Popovich. Popovich is looking at that boy. I'm letting y'all know these are facts. I like what that boy doing, what's his name, the dude inside that played in the G League. I can't think of his name, but y'all know he's talking about his stock grew up and everything. Yeah, you know why his stock is up? Because you got a bunch of guys on the sideline of the combine that didn't want to go out there and get on the floor because they scared somebody might get on that floor and get in front of them and give them, you know what I'm saying, the Bones Highland treatment and move up with their stock. So a lot of people really was ducking that wreck, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't have to go out there that combine because he was showing you what he was doing against the guys inside that G League with grown men who were trying to get back in the league. He holding them back. So that boy right there is a major pick for us. But it's really not about who we pick with the 11th pick. Just whatever pick we made, the dude got to come in and perform. But don't think that dude going to come in for the left pick to come here and turn this whole team around. No, that doesn't happen with this pick right here. What happens, what needs to turn the whole team around is the dudes that was on this roster last year. I hope they're working and getting their game up the par, getting prepped up. So next season they be able to take off like the Kentucky Derby, you know what I'm saying, and handle their business. And don't look for none of these guys coming here to be A1s and take over this thing. They're not here for that. They're supposed to come right in and fit right in and handle their business and do what they got to do without a chip on their shoulder, just playing free basketball. I'm looking for all these guys that was on this team last year to handle their business this year when they come to open up that season. And like I said, I will be at that, that summer league. I'm going to the summer league and I'm going to see what we got. I want to see Deuce. I want to see his game picked up. And I want to see some of y'all guys. Jay before I can't believe KnicksFanTV came down there in your hood, your neighborhood, and you couldn't even forget flying a plane. You could have caught an Uber all that money you got down there. You could have caught an Uber to come rock with my man. But I love and appreciate everybody. Keep doing what you're doing. Everybody stay healthy and safe. And I got to send my condolences and blessings out there to Texas to that situation. I got a kid too, you know what I'm saying? And by any means, I got to love and protect my household. That's what a parent's supposed to do. You're supposed to secure your household and make sure everything is safe. But it's a sad situation when you can't even go to church and receive a service and feel blessed and come back home and receive your blessings for what you've been doing in life. It's a bad situation when your kids can't even go to school and get a proper education and come back and tell you what I learned. And if something is wrong with what I'm learning, then daddy or mommy, you reteach me what I didn't learn. That's a bad situation, man. So I got to send my condolences out to that situation. I also got to send my condolences out to that Buffalo situation. What is the world coming through? We're separating too much. When are we going to start uniting? When are we going to start being equal as one? Everybody the same. Stop looking at the color. Stop looking at where you're from. Be just one. Just be one. Equal, and everybody stay together. Salute, 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 3 capital S, and everybody had a great evening, man.
Jay Boogie with another closing sermon. Everybody throw some 5s in the chat. Jay Boogie, the closer, bringing that heat to close an excellent draft Q&A, man. Derek, outstanding job once again. We did the pre-show. We got to bring you back on for the draft closing show to recap the picks, grade the overall draft, and then we'll take it to Summer League, man. Do you plan on being at Summer League this year?
Oh, I've never missed a Summer League. I never will. So I will be out there. Anybody out there, DM me on Twitter. happy to link up with you at a game. As of right now, Matt and I will both be in New York for the draft as well. I'm planning on coming up on the 21st, maybe. So we'll see. I'll be in a lot of y'all's neighborhood. But again, thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Everybody listening, their questions. Again, KnicksFanTV, one of the best. So I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely, man. Anything you are working on with Babcock Hoops basketball news between now and the draft?
Yeah, so we'll continue to update our mock draft probably weekly. We did it Tuesday. So go on there. You can look. Our YouTube's full of the best highlight videos out there. Any footage we get, we throw up online. And then I've got player interviews coming out. I just interviewed Keon Ellis from Alabama. It's up on the website. This morning, I dropped Ryan Rollins from Toledo, who exploded in the combine. And I interviewed Darius Days from LSU just moments before I came onto this. So I'll probably release that Monday. And Matt's traveling doing some pre-draft workouts as well. So a lot of stuff coming out.
D Murray, what's your Twitter tag?
Hoops, D Murray Hoops.
At D Murray Hoops, ladies and gentlemen, follow him. He's sharp. He's one of the best that we got. This is why we bring you the best, to give you the intel, to give you the lowdown from the guys who eat, sleep, and drink this thing on a nightly basis, man. Derek Murray, Babcock Hoops, basketballnews.com. Always appreciate his insight. To everybody in the chat, hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did enjoy the show, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is your one-stop shop when it comes to talking Knicks draft. You don't want to miss it. Like I said, we bring you the best of the best, and nobody's doing it like us. Go ahead and support our sponsors, PrizePicks.com. Enter promo code KFTV for a bonus match on your deposit of up to $100. Snapbacks, ladies and gentlemen, are available. The new era snaps are in stores. Go to KnicksFanTV.com/shop, and I'm shipping wherever you guys are, man. So for my guys in the UK, Australia, wherever you guys at, I'm shipping over there. Shout out to everybody who made a purchase so far. Definitely appreciate you guys. We've had orders come in, obviously in New York, but California, Texas, all over the map. So definitely appreciate everybody who's placed their orders. So like I said, KnicksFanTV.com/shop. And remember that this show is available in audio podcast format, all the major podcast platforms. So no need to miss it if you missed it live. Salute to the replay gang if you're catching it on demand. And you can also catch it in podcast format. So once again, for Derek Murray, CP the Franchise here, we will see you guys. I'll see you guys Sunday for another edition of Knicks Weekly. Until then, enjoy the holiday weekend. Be safe out there, as Jay Boogie says, and hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Peace.